Have you ever watched an action movie and thought, there's no way this could happen in real life? Well, history tells a different story. Some battles were so intense, so chaotic, and so unbelievable that they felt like scenes straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster. Explosions, last-minute victories, impossible odds, these fights had it all. Today, we're diving into 5 of the most action-packed battles in history. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to Unique History Channel. Stay until the end, because number 1 is so insane it sounds like pure fiction. Let's set sail for the azure waters of the Aegean Sea, to a time when the fate of Western civilization hung in the balance. The year is 480 BC. The mighty Persian Empire, led by the god King Xerxes, has unleashed its fury upon the fractious Greek city-states. Athens, the cradle of democracy, has been sacked and burned. The Persian army, a vast horde drawn from every corner of the empire, seems unstoppable. But the Greeks, though outnumbered and outmatched, are not yet defeated. They have one last hope: their navy. Imagine this. The sun beats down on the narrow strait of Salamis. The air is thick with tension, the smell of salt spray mingled with the fear that hangs heavy over the Greek fleet. Their triremes, sleek warships powered by hundreds of oarsmen, are dwarfed by the sheer size of the Persian fleet. Xerxes, watching from his golden throne atop a nearby cliff, is confident of victory. His navy, a vast armada drawn from the conquered peoples of his empire, outnumbers the Greeks 3-1. But the Greeks have a secret weapon, a brilliant strategist named Themistocles. He knows that the narrow confines of the strait will negate the Persian advantage in numbers. He has lured the enemy into a trap. As the Persian fleet enters the strait, the Greeks spring their surprise. Feinting a retreat, they draw the enemy deeper into the narrow channel. The Persian ships, packed tightly together, find themselves unable to maneuver. Then, with a roar that echoes across the centuries, the Greeks attack. Their triremes, smaller and more agile than the lumbering Persian warships, ram into the enemy, their bronze rams smashing through hulls, sending ships and men to the bottom of the sea. The Persian fleet, once a symbol of imperial might, is torn apart by the fury of the Greek attack. The Battle of Salamis, a stunning victory against overwhelming odds, marks a turning point in history. We're fast-forwarding now to the 20th century, to the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. The year is 1942, and the world is engulfed in the flames of World War II. Japan, after its surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, seems invincible. Their navy, led by skilled admirals and equipped with powerful aircraft carriers, has run rampant across the Pacific, dealing the United States a series of humiliating defeats. But the Americans, though bloodied but unbowed, are preparing to strike back. The stage is set for one of the most decisive naval battles in history, the Battle of Midway. Imagine this: the vast emptiness of the Pacific, the endless blue horizon broken only by the churning wakes of warships. The air is thick with anticipation, the tension palpable as both sides prepare for the inevitable clash. The Japanese, confident in their superior numbers and experience, launch a massive air attack on Midway Island, a strategically vital outpost in the Central Pacific. But the Americans, thanks to a stroke of luck and brilliant code breaking, know the Japanese plans. They've set a trap. As the Japanese planes roar off their carriers, American dive bombers, lurking unseen in the clouds, swoop down on the unsuspecting enemy fleet. What follows is a scene of utter chaos and destruction. American bombs, guided by fate and the courage of their pilots, find their marks. Japanese carriers, symbols of imperial might, erupt in flames, their decks transformed into infernos. The Battle of Midway, a stunning victory against overwhelming odds, marks a turning point in the Pacific War. It is a testament to the power of intelligence, the importance of code breaking in modern warfare, and the sheer guts and determination of the American sailors and airmen who fought with such ferocity that day. Imagine, if you will, the year is 1942. The world is locked in a titanic struggle. The seemingly unstoppable Wehrmacht, having conquered most of Europe, has turned its attention to the sprawling vastness of the Soviet Union. Their target? A city bearing the name of the Soviet premier himself, Stalingrad. This was no ordinary battle. The Germans, confident in their blitzkrieg tactics, expected a swift victory. They were in for a rude awakening. What unfolded in the streets and ruins of Stalingrad was a maelstrom of unimaginable brutality. Picture this: a city transformed into a labyrinth of rubble and destruction. Buildings reduced to skeletal husks, each brick and stone a testament to the ferocity of the fighting. The air thick with the acrid tang of cordite and smoke, the constant drone of aircraft overhead punctuated by the deafening roar of artillery. And in this hellscape, men fought and died with a desperation born of absolute necessity. Snipers, those phantom assassins of the battlefield, turned the ruined cityscape into their hunting ground. Men like Vasily Zaitsev, a name whispered in hushed tones, became legends. With nerves of steel and eyes like a hawk, they stalked their prey through the wreckage, each shot a testament to their deadly skill. The Volga River, the lifeblood of the city, ran red with the blood of the fallen. As the battle raged, the Soviets found themselves pushed back to a narrow strip of land along the riverbank. Their backs were against the wall, facing seemingly insurmountable odds. But the spirit of resistance, fueled by a burning hatred for the invaders, refused to die. Then, just when all hope seemed lost, the tide turned. In a stunning display of strategic brilliance, Soviet reinforcements launched a massive counteroffensive, Operation Uranus. The German Sixth Army, the pride of the Wehrmacht, found itself surrounded, trapped in a frozen wasteland hundreds of miles from home. The hunters had become the hunted. Finally, after months of unimaginable suffering, the German Sixth Army surrendered. Let's turn the clock back now, centuries before the thunder of tanks and the howl of dive bombers, to a muddy field in northern France. The year is 1415, and Europe is mired in a seemingly endless conflict, the 100 Years' War. A young English king, Henry V, finds himself facing a crisis. His army, ravaged by disease and hunger after a long campaign, is outnumbered and outmaneuvered by a French force that seems invincible. Imagine the scene: a cold, damp October morning. The English army, a mere 5,000 strong, stands in a narrow field, hemmed in by thick woods on either side. Their armor is battered, their spirits low. Many are sick, weakened by dysentery and exhaustion. Across the field, a sea of banners and gleaming steel announces the arrival of the French army. They are a magnificent sight, 20,000 strong, a chivalric force composed of heavily armored knights, the flower of French nobility. They are confident, even arrogant, certain of their impending victory. The English army, though outnumbered, possesses a secret weapon, the longbow. Wielded by skilled archers drawn from the commons of England, these powerful weapons can send arrows arcing high into the air, raining death from above. The French, blinded by their own arrogance, make a fatal mistake. They order a cavalry charge across the muddy field, believing their sheer weight will crush the English lines. But the field, soaked by days of rain, has become a treacherous quagmire. The heavily armored knights, weighed down by their own protection, become bogged down in the mud. They are easy targets for the English archers, who unleash a devastating volley of arrows. The sky darkens as thousands of arrows take flight, each one a whisper of death. The French knights, trapped in their heavy armor, are cut down like wheat before the scythe. The Battle of Agincourt becomes a legendary victory for the English, a testament to the courage and tenacity of the common soldier. Our final chapter takes us to the scorching sands of the Middle East, to a time when a new power was casting a long shadow across Asia and beyond, the Mongol Empire. By the mid-13th century, the Mongols, led by their charismatic and ruthless leaders, had carved out the largest contiguous land empire in history. From the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe, their horsemen had ridden down every foe in their path. Their reputation for military prowess and sheer brutality preceded them like a whispered threat. But in 1260, they faced an enemy unlike any they had encountered before: the Mamluks of Egypt. The Mamluks, a warrior caste composed of former slaves, were known for their discipline, their horsemanship, and their unwavering courage. The stage was set for a clash of civilizations, a battle that would decide the fate of the Middle East. Imagine the scene: the The sun beats down on the valley of Ain Jalut, near the Sea of Galilee. The air shimmers with heat, the silence broken only by the whinnying of horses and the distant cries of birds. The Mongol army, a seemingly unstoppable force, stands poised to conquer Egypt, the jewel of the Islamic world. Their banners flutter in the breeze, their horses stamp impatiently, eager for battle. Facing them are the Mamluks, their numbers smaller, but their resolve unshakable. They are led by a brilliant general, Qutuz, who has devised a cunning strategy to defeat the seemingly invincible Mongols. The Mongols, accustomed to dictating the terms of battle, launch into their familiar attack, a wave of horsemen sweeping across the battlefield, seeking to envelop and destroy the enemy. But the Mamluks, feigning retreat, draw the Mongols deeper into the valley. They allow themselves to be seemingly pushed back, luring the enemy into a carefully laid trap. Then, just when the Mongols believe victory is within their grasp, the Mamluks spring their ambush. Hidden contingents of Mamluk horsemen concealed in the surrounding hills charge down upon the flanks of the Mongol army, taking them completely by surprise. The Mamluks, armed with lances, swords, and maces, unleash their fury upon the surprised Mongols. The Mongols, for the first time in their long history of conquest, find themselves fighting for their lives. The Battle of Ain Jalut, a stunning victory against all odds, marks a turning point in history. And there you have it, 5 battles so intense they felt like action movies. But they were real. Which one amazed you the most? Do you know another battle that was even crazier? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss more thrilling history content. Until next time, stay curious.